I don't want to get crazy about this because I don't want people arguing, including myself. But I thought this was interesting because I feel like it backs up some things, but I feel like it also focuses on things that are important. And I saw this after the fact, just to be clear. This is from March 7th. The New York Post is reporting that an increasing number of boys are rebelling against their parents' woke ideology and turning to conservative beliefs. Boys are turning to conservatism because critical theory permeates the education system and entertainment industry, accusing white boys and men of being oppressors of everything else, the oppressed. So these boys are searching for what it means to be a real man. Many Gen Zers are heavily inspired by social media influencers such as Andrew Tate, whose paradigm is, quote, fast cars, fast money, fast women. It's interesting, though.
Yeah, that sounds super conservative.
Yeah, exactly. So it's that, and it's also find me anything from the past 5 years where Andrew Tate talks about fast women. I can't find it. So I've used AI and I've dedicated hours of my life to listening to Andrew Tate talk in interviews just to validate things that I believed because I had heard them from people I respect. I've yet to hear any of it is my problem. And I've yet to be able to find it with AI. And I've genuinely tried. I don't like him for my own reasons. And I've talked about them periodically. I don't like him, just to be clear. I don't think he's a good example. I don't think young men should be watching him. I think there are plenty of other grown men who are promoting better values, more sustainability. Like his thing right now, specifically young Christian men, I think it's awful. Because this thing right now where he converts from Christianity to Islam because nobody respects Christianity, like what the fuck? You're converting religions because you don't feel like the religion is respected enough. It's got nothing to do with God. And if you hear him talk about it, it sounds ridiculous because it's all about the fact that Christians suck. Like Christians suck, therefore I'm Islam now. I agree, Christians suck, but that doesn't say anything about God. It says that people suck. We talk about it basically every day. How Christians have completely lost it. They suck. What does that say about God? It says nothing about God. What does that say about the Bible? It says nothing about the Bible. Oh, you don't like today's translation? So there are people who suck translating a book and making it suck. And so you're going to become a Muslim because of that? It's absolutely ridiculous. It's asinine listening to him talk about it. So just absolute clarity, I don't like him. However, he doesn't talk about fast women at all. At all. You can find things from like he looks like a little baby in these videos where I can find him where he is talking demeaning about women. He is saying things about women being like fast women being positive. But in the past, like any time where you see him and he looks like a functioning adult, like a grown man, zero, nothing. He talks about how women should be modest and how men should not sleep with a ton of women. It's just wild. It's wild that like he gets these types of labels and it's not what he espouses. I think he espouses tons of negative stuff that makes him a horrible role model, but keep it on what he actually says. Because otherwise I read this even as someone who doesn't like him and I'm like, oh, they're lying about him. So maybe I need to learn more about him because I know that they're lying. It like makes me more interested in him, even though I've already defined my opinion about him. I just think it's a terrible move for people if they want to like drag you about something that you can validate. Don't drag you about something that I can spend hours and hours listening to him and an hour plus on AI and prove you're lying. It's not true. Focus on the things he actually does. Tate has 8.8 million followers on X. He calls himself a pimp and admits he produces porn. No and no. Actually, he did the webcam thing, which he admits to. He talks about it a lot. You can find all sorts of stuff about it. The pimp is ironic. And this is one of those funny things. He also has on his Twitter that he's a Zim. He also has on his Twitter that he's a Democrat. He also his entire Twitter thing is it's a play. It's sarcasm. It's crazy. Sadly, he is not just popular in young boys and secular culture, but those in Christian homes as well, which is awful. I don't think it's positive. I don't think any young Christian men should be watching Andrew Tate. If you don't have a positive biblical view of masculinity that you're teaching your boys, they're going to reach out to those online influencers, which I think is the crux of the problem. Why are so many young boys needing to have like a father figure in Andrew Tate or in any other
because they don't have real dads?
Because they don't have real dads. The problem is fathers aren't being fathers. All I'm saying is Andrew Tate is one of 100 who are garbage people that no young man should try to emulate. But I don't think he's the problem. I think he's a symptom of the problem. I think the only reason he exists at all in this manner is because men like me as a father are not doing what they should be doing. Otherwise, you as my son should want to be me. You should not want to be Andrew Tate. So what am I doing wrong? How am I failing? That's how I actually see it. These young men either don't have a father at all, probably, or have a father who they don't respect. And why? Because their dad's probably failing. And in some cases, probably not. They probably have a perfectly good dad, but Andrew Tate's cool and he's rich and like that's not lost on me. I get that. So even with a good dad, there will be some boys who emulate him and want to be like him. But I think you could cut down hundreds of thousands of them if dads were just like being dads, like real dads. And maybe if dads had some semblance of masculinity, because that's kind of what Tate stands for. And that's another thing that has kind of become lost, at least to some degree.